Welcome to the video series Recording Techniques. This is part 4, the final part of how to record a drum kit, getting the audio levels. Before you can record anything, you need to know how much level is going to come from the microphones into the mixer. It is vital to ask the drummer to give you the levels that he's likely to be playing at, and this never works out in practice. However hard he hits the drums to give you a test level, the level will go up when you start to record, so be prepared for this. The plan now is to first of all make sure that all the levels are arriving at the desk, bass drum, snare drum, toms, etc., and then to route them to individual tracks on your recording device. A word about EQ. EQ stands for equalization, and it's frequency correction of the incoming signal. In an ideal world, you would put a microphone on a drum and you would get a brilliant sound into the device that you're recording onto, but it doesn't work quite like that. You do have to use some EQ, but do not go mad with the EQ. The sound that you need to have on your recording device, whether it be analog or digital, needs to be quite rough around the edges and much larger than life. Do not EQ and make a very small refined sound, because otherwise when you come to mix it, you will get a very small refined sound in your mix. Before reaching for the EQ, we need to get the drum kit to sound right in the room. This would apply to any musical instrument that you're recording, or even a vocal. The snare drum that Dan is using is ringing on slightly too much, and the best way to take care of this is to use your finger and run it very lightly around the edge of the drum until you find a sensitive spot where the drum starts to sound how you want it. For the music form we're currently recording, we need a short, tight, very punchy snare sound. When you find a sensitive spot that damps the drum slightly, you need to stick a piece of gaffer tape on this, but do not blather gaffer tape all over the drum. What you need to do is tear off about a 4-inch strip, fold it into a pad, as you see Dan doing here, and then stick this pad onto the drum with another piece of gaffer tape. Once you've done that, test it. Hit the drum and see what it sounds like. If you find that the damping is too much, remove the piece of gaffer tape you've just put on there and use a smaller piece. Eventually you'll get it dead right. Make sure you stick down the pad of gaffer very firmly. Here's a before test, and here's an after test. The same thing applies to the toms, but it's usually the bottom skin that balloons a little bit, and a simple loop of gaffer tape underneath the skin will usually do the trick. Again, don't be tempted to just reach for the gaffer tape. Try and get the drum to sound right without using gaffer tape by using the tensioners. But if all else fails, the loop of gaffer under the tom always does the trick. Then with a little EQ, taking out some 1K, the kit should sound like this. This is the studio sound, and this is the live sound in the room from the camera's mic. And once again, just to conclude, do not over EQ. Do not strangle the sound of the kit, let it breathe. Thanks to my friend Dan Storm Mullins for making this drum feature possible, and we both hope that you found it useful.